Let's get ourselves glammed up for this video. So we have a new outfit. This one is cutie, I think. Yeah. So this was actually inspired by a challenge video I did. And this is the theme Hime Gyaru. Okay. So for the theme of today's video is about believing in your dreams. And I want to be very, very out there with you guys. Not everyone is going to believe in your dreams. If anything, most people are not going to. Because why should they? And I don't mean this in a supposedly indifferent, dismissive way. It's your dream. So someone else will be focusing on what they're trying to do in their daily lives. But I'm going to try my best to not get emotional because it can be a tad bit triggering, but it's something I need to get out of my system. It's painful, when people don't believe in you or when people show that they will expect you to fail or, all of that stuff. The expectations are there. You feel like you can't do it. So, what are we supposed to do when we ever feel this way? The truth is, we have to keep going regardless. Because I've mentioned this in another video of mine about confidence, and hopefully, I should be able to link it somewhere. Um, but the concept of this is that confidence comes from the actions you take in your everyday life. So, if you guys, for example, want to achieve something, you can't just say, okay, I want to do this and speak to all of your best friends and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. People are going to say, okay, fine, that's amazing, you can do it. But when you don't take the action, it lacks. And that's when it creates a lack of confidence. That's when it creates anxiety because it's like a student who doesn't prepare for a test. People don't have to believe in you, but you're the one who has to study. And then when you show your results, that's when people start acting like they've always been by you since day one. Some people are like that. But the other thing that I just genuinely wanted to get out of my system was that don't take it personally, guys. A friend of mine once told me this quote: you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And this basically means that some people have been brought up with this mentality, and it's a very, very fixed one. And they probably don't even know how to really change it because it's how they grew up. They just believe something that they've adopted since a young age or for a very long period of time. So they want to just reflect that back to you. Sometimes people speak from personal fears of incompetence because they don't want you to be like them and they don't want you to go through disappointment. But other times, people are downright jealous. And I guess the other thing I wanted to mention is that it's all down to you how you want to be. And this isn't meant to be a cliche motivational video, it's supposed to be something that grounds you. To know that it's okay if people aren't there, and even if the journey is lonely, people forget that even big creators nowadays, they did not start with anything. And I like how I say that while I'm just descending to my grave. Yeah, I remember you, Momo. I remember you. I was trying to go towards the portal, somehow missed it by a long shot. But yeah, it's something that we just have to acknowledge. It's indeed excruciating and it feels like, what if this person doesn't believe in me? What's the point? And but the thing is, you have to take that initiative yourself. Before these big creators who people talk about nowadays became big, they started as a nobody. No one knew who they were. It's not until they started to take the initiative to make content or whatever they do, where they actually became someone who's relevant. People don't just become relevant just like that. I mean, yes, I can agree that the algorithm can reward unfairly, and perhaps some people can get the advantage so much earlier, but everyone starts as a nobody. So before someone becomes early, even if they have a spike of increase of views, etc., they still started with zero, even if they went to 100K immediately after, because they start with nothing. People start with nothing. And when I mean nothing, I don't mean absolutely nothing. Like some people can still have jobs on the side. But when I say with nothing, I'm talking about the mentioned industry. So if you're a content creator, then I guess you could say everyone starts from zero. Even if you've been grinding, at one point you started from zero. So what are we supposed to do if we feel this way? You just need to understand that life goes on, okay? And you are the one who dictates how your life goes. Genuinely. If you hate it, if you hate how it goes, you need to decide to do something which is less, hateful. And it's not easy. So, what I like to do to stay grounded is to ask myself, what do I do to make this suck less? Not what do I do to just change this, but what do I do to make this suck less? Because I need to acknowledge that there's a problem. I need to acknowledge that there is something I need to work on. And I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be someone who can genuinely um, be, what's the word? I want to be someone who can be proud of her own self. You know, I want that so bad. I just want to be someone who looks in the mirror and says, I'm proud of you. And there has been times where I have done that. Feels a little bit corny to mention this online, but it's a good way to heal your inner child, especially if you're inner child or when you were younger. Um, you were someone who needed a lot of validation. So it's really comforting to speak to yourself like that. And you know what? Inner child talk is definitely something I should mention for another video because it's also very, very deep. And before you can even get people in the picture, your inner child is basically who you were when you were younger and the habits and thoughts you adopted alongside it, etc. So yeah, anyway, this video is still very relevant to following your dreams. Follow them. I don't care if people don't believe in you. Unless your dreams are stupidly dumb, like something that gets you in trouble, go for your dreams. I honestly don't care if people are going to tell you, oh, you can't do it. Ask yourself this: are you inspired by the people who are telling you that? If yes, ask yourself, how do you become more like them, honestly? And if there is some part of you that feels jealous, because that happens when people who perform really well tell us, it hurts even more. Because hearing an incompetent loser telling me to do something is one thing, okay? Like, you don't do anything for your own life. And then when you hear it from someone who is doing something, that's when you have to start taking the approach differently. Don't use comparison. Instead, ask yourself how you can become more like that. Maybe don't adopt the personality. It kind of sucks if they're like that. But the most important thing that people need to understand is be sincere and authentic and true to yourself with everything you do. So if there's a dream you want to do, why do you want it? And have a very good reason why, okay? Like with this channel, and I don't need to glaze myself because I don't really care about clout. It's stupid in my opinion. And again, a type of validation, which is again stupid. I created this channel to help people. I want people to feel heard and I want people to understand where I'm coming from. And I do want to say that some of my videos do sound like I'm speaking to you guys as if I already expect you to know what I'm on about because my audience kind of is like that to an extent. There are people out there who probably, what's the word? There are people, whoopsies. Yeah, I don't think I can get that. I think this portal is a little bit challenging. But there are people out there who can achieve amazing things. And I know that they can because I've seen people's potentials before. But sometimes they get told, oh, I need to be a doctor because my parents said so, because I did this. The truth is, everyone likes to find the easy way out, and people love to chase validation. Before anyone tells me about realism, about stuff, let me be really honest with you. Even finding a job is competitive as hell. And everything is challenging. That's life. It's tough. The only thing we're going to need to ask ourselves is this worth struggling for? If you're struggling to meet someone else's dream, that's going to be even worse. But if you struggle for your own dream, you're struggling. That's part of life. But you're doing it for a good cause. You're not struggling for the sake of it. You know what I mean? So I'll give you guys another example with this channel. I still show up and make videos all the time. Sometimes I ask myself, what am I doing and stuff. And then I remember there are actually people, real people, behind the screen watching my videos from the beginning to end, and I'm just thinking, wow, people actually can tolerate me talking, and that makes me feel quite liberated, and I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, if people don't believe in my dream, I will. It's my dream after all, so they can't really believe in your dream as much as you do. And I'm religious, but I'm just gonna say this anyway. I trust God. I know He's gonna help me. I call God Allah, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. But yeah, it's very, very important to have someone who is a good support system. And I know this is gonna sound so sad, but you should definitely hear this. You, as a support system, is sufficient, honestly. If you have no one else in your life, but you are somewhat like, I can do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna prove them wrong, I'm gonna be able to do this for myself, that's big enough. You don't need to have that one person who's there for you. That's amazing if you do, but some of us don't have that. Some of us needed to learn that, you know what, I can do this. I am here to do this. And when you start adopting the I can do this and you actually add the action as well, it becomes so true. And then others see you that way. That's why these big creators are so influential. They show their audience that they will achieve something, even if they haven't said it. It's more subconscious. The audience, like when you watch their videos, you binge them, right? Once upon a time, that was probably a dream of theirs to have someone binge their content, you know. And when you learn how important it is to have an audience, especially as a content creator, you start to value every single bit of retention, every single view, and that just contributes. So these people, they didn't start off with like so many views. Once upon a time, it was a dream of theirs, you know, and people contribute to their dreams. So, what I'm trying to say is these people worked hard and they promised their audience something, and their audience obviously then decided that they were going to, what's the word? Let's say, like, when you click a video, whether it's a thumbnail or a title or whatever, you want something, you expect something from that video, and you want your answer to be there. Like, you have a question, you want that question to be answered. And of course, if you don't go straight to the point, the video loses its value. So that's what people do nowadays with content creation. Like, it's their safe space. And if you're with someone for so many years and you've been watching them, you start to feel a connection and you realize that these people have unique attributes. But they're just human beings at the end of the day with dreams, and they decided to take action. So just see it like that. When you see your favorite creator, just realize they started from zero, they showed up, whether it's content, whether it's a job, whether it's anything, even a relationship you're inspired by, you know, just to have something healthy in your life. Just realize that it all started because they took action, they took initiative. And I always mention people you look up to because it's so important. And there is someone in my life who I look up to, and she has a very good job. She's very kind to me. She's honestly so sweet. And her mentality is chef's kiss. When she goes through something, she literally tells me it can be hard, but she also tells me, I've got this. And I love that. I love seeing accountability in people, and I love seeing optimism. Those are probably some of the most interestingly conflicting yet most attractive attributes to a person. If you can admit you're wrong, if you can admit you're vulnerable, because some people say it's not attractive, people say it's weakness. But if you also say, I've got this, I can do it, you're showing authenticity. So that's something I strive to be, you know. I don't even know where I'm going in this video, you know. I'm just kind of running around talking, but I'm still going, you know. My character is still moving. Even if she has no idea where she's going, it's like us in life. We don't know where we're going, but we know we always have to keep going. If we're stagnant, that creates anxiety because we're not moving. We're not doing anything. We're not really taking any initiative. We're not planning. We're just there, kind of waiting for something to dawn on us. So, what I'm trying to imply in this video is that you guys are capable. you guys can achieve your goals. Whatever your goals may be, even if they sound impossible, if it's a goal that doesn't leave you alone, like what I have, you need to keep at it. And who gives a crap what anyone says? Honestly, I'm done with that. And people will speak, but that's from their own experiences. Now, I don't want to make anything sound romanticized, but sometimes you have to have compassion for people like that. Some people don't believe in you, not because they want to hate you, even if it sounds like they do. It's because that's how they grew up. If someone believes that the world is a harsh place, it's unfair. It is, definitely is. Like, none of us can say with any confidence that this world is, you know, ideal. There's always going to be something that is destructive. But if that person feels like this world is only sad, only cruel, only exploiting people, all of that stuff, then that's how they grew up. And you should feel bad for that. You shouldn't shame someone. You should say, you know what, this is how you grew up. And I do understand that that is true. I do believe that to an extent. But is that going to limit me? Because there are still so many people who are successful. There are still so many people who do their best each day. There are people who show up for what they want to do. So why should that stop me? It's you got to think of it like that. And I just realized I'm going from one tree um bark to another. Like, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what you guys have to see it as. People were not actually as in control as you think they are. When we're kids, our minds are so susceptible. We could literally believe anything. As kids, I'm sure a lot of us believed in the tooth fairy. And if I think of it now, it's absurd. But I was a kid. What kid wouldn't actually believe in something like that? Especially if you're exposed to media like that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that when you focus on your goals, your whole life becomes much more organized. So if you focus more on doing what you need to do, then you're going to be someone who's just much more dignified. You're going to be someone who realizes, oh, not everyone can have your time because you have a valuable goal in mind. And when you realize why you want something, that should inspire you more because you remember what is it that drove you to this? Why would you want this and nothing else? So a common question I could ask myself is why YouTube? Like I've tried TikTok. I have been posting reels, but not recently. I used to do Spike's family stuff, but I realized it wasn't really for me. It definitely gave me views, but it didn't give me like any closure to who I was. Because when I game, I can actually be myself. But with reels, you don't know like how I am behind the screen. And I just want to show myself more often, personality wise. So yeah. And that's some I don't know why I came here. It's like I've been trying to get myself hit. Okay, whatever. I'm just strolling around doing what I need to do. I'm still waiting for the quest to unlock. 5 days is crazy. Oh my gosh. But yeah. I do hope this video did help someone. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but this dream does not leave. Oh crap. This dream does not leave me alone. Like, I have had moments where I literally can't sleep because I dread about how I'm doing. I'm not kidding. To an extent, it's healthy, but obviously it shouldn't be obsessive. But if your dream is something that you think about on the daily, you know it's precious. It's something that I'm not saying you need to battle sleep over, but it's something that should definitely give some sort of impact to you. Whether you stress about it a little bit, regulated stress, by the way, or you think about how to do better, all of those things are normal. And that shows that you're willing to take the next step. Because so many of us, or so many people rather, just decide, you know what, I'm just going to go by what society says and do whatever. Society is a double standard mess. People are going to complain. Whether you have short hair, they complain. Whether you have long hair, they complain. Whether you have no hair, they complain. People will always have something to say, and you can't please everyone. And I had to learn this in the freaking hardest way possible because my mind wanted to have familiarity with everything. It wanted ease. So you might be thinking some people within a certain range, let's say friends or family, you'd kind of think, oh, everyone is kind of relative. Of course they'll understand. Or maybe they'll have an idea of what things are like because they know me in person. But no, people still have their own limiting beliefs. So go for your dreams and do your best, guys. Even if the whole world was to go against you, if whatever is meant for you is meant for you, and you'll only know by trying, then you'll just know that it won't leave you alone. It just won't. You'll always be thinking to yourself, how am I going to make this better? How am I supposed to um, work on this each day? And that's exactly how people win. That's how people actually show up for themselves. That's the most important thing. But yeah, I like how I said that and now I'm dipping. Yeah. I think I'm done with yapping. I don't know where I'm going, but let's just call it quits. I think I'll do another Hardtopia video soon. I'm not sure. To be honest, in Hardtopia, I feel like there isn't much to do anymore. It just feels like quests. At least in Infinity Nikki, there's like a story mode. I like how she's yawning. I'm sorry, girl. I'm done yapping, okay? Are you happy now? It's like she just knows what I'm saying. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another video. Let's do our cute little send off. So, yeah, peace, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.